Good morning, good afternoon, Representative Neroni. Thank you for taking some time with us to meet with us today. We are Marquette students here, currently in our second semester, and we are here to represent our local district. We are here to talk about Assembly Bill 41, which protects a person's rights to grow their own vegetables and plants on their own private property. Today, I will be the one leading this discussion, along with my classmates Joseph, who will be talking about public health, chronic diseases, and any issues behind food access. Kimberly will be sharing a real world story about what happens when cities ban access to planting your own vegetables at home. And then Melissa will address any common concerns like pest, lawn rules, and why Wisconsin needs this bill to be passed. And then I will conclude our conversation with an official request and provide you a summary about what we talked about today. So I'd like to turn this conversation over to Joseph, and he will explain why this bill matters to us in a public health way and especially from a nursing lens.
Thank you, Nu. I'll go ahead and take it over. Just talk a little. We'll start off by just kind of talking about our role as future nurses. So, as future nurses, we're going to witness the big impact of chronic diseases like obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiac disease, and hypertension. And this affects millions of families worldwide. And it also has a big impact on costs and our entire healthcare system overall. So one simple but effective way that we can sort of minimize these risks and possibly even decrease the rates that we're seeing chronic diseases is simply by starting with increasing fruit and vegetable consumption. However, the caveat is that many families do face challenges in being able to access fresh produce due to rising grocery costs. So, for example, in Wisconsin, approximately 1 in 10 households struggle to obtain enough healthy food, nutrient-dense food. So, um, by growing their own vegetables, it reduces costs and it meets the preventative effects that nutrient-dense foods like fruits and vegetables do have. And research also does support this idea. In the comprehensive review in the International Journal of Epidemiology, um, Harvard actually produced a study revealing that consuming just 5 servings of fruits and vegetables significantly lowered the risk of heart disease, cancer, as well as, most importantly, premature death. And facilitating access to fresh produce is going to be a huge player in this game. And as nurses, we're advocating for, or future nurses, we're advocating for preventative measures to decrease the burden of chronic diseases. So encouraging these habits are a good way to start alleviating the cost of our healthcare system, the cost of death on individuals and families. And this bill, Assembly Bill 41, offers a huge solution to be able to begin the process and simplify home gardening for families and also empowering people to take charge of their health. And that's all I got.
Yeah,
Who would be next?
right. So, I mean, while research clearly shows the health benefits of increasing access to fresh produce, Kimberly will also share about a family's experiences that demonstrated why the statewide protection, like AB 41, is necessary. Kimberly?
Hi, thank you, Nurs. So I'd like to share. So in Florida, there was a couple named Hermione Ricketts and Tom Carroll. They had grown an organic vegetable garden in their home, in front of their home, for 17 years. That garden provided them with about 80% of their fresh fruits and vegetables that they had ate. And throughout the years, they had had no complaints. But in 2013, Miami had changed its zoning ordinance, and that new rule specifically banned front yard vegetable gardens, but other front yards were allowed to have flowers, fruit trees, and any other plant decor. So after the ordinance changed, that code actually enforced Hermione and Tom to remove their garden or face $50 a day of fines, which would estimate to about 1,500 every month. That change must have been drastic for them. So as they spent years growing their food for their family, it was just the complete disruption that destroyed them with this rule. Hermione and Tom decided to challenge that ordinance in court. They actually had fought it for 6 years and ended up not having the constitutional right to grow vegetables in their front yard. And instead of giving up, they ended up working with state lawmakers to find a long-term solution for it. So in 2019, Florida passed the Senate Bill 82, which was a statewide law that prevents local governments from banning residential vegetable gardens. So that law still allows cities to go ahead and enforce reasonable regulations like the water use and invasive weeds and fertilizer, but it protects the families from being banned from growing food on their own property. This shows why the Wisconsin Assembly Bill 41 matters, because without the statewide protections, the cities could change their local ordinances and suddenly prohibit these residential gardens, and families could continue to face fines for simply growing vegetables in their own yard. Um, as future nurses, we obviously want to encourage healthier eating and eliminate any of the health issues that can come from not doing so. So it doesn't make sense in being able to promote this and allowing local governments to prevent families from these issues. Home gardens or healthier lifestyles, and help reduce grocery costs and give families the right to the access of fresh foods. So the Assembly Bill doesn't eliminate the local authority. It just simply creates protection to still allow the general health and safety regulations to be enforced. But it protects the homeowners from unnecessary government overreach while maintaining clean and safe neighborhoods. For those reasons, we believe Assembly Bill 41 is practical and for both public and individual rights.
And I think it's important for us to address any concerns that other communities might have in terms of like pests and property maintenance. And so we'll turn that over to Melissa.
Hi, everybody. So yeah, some of the most common concerns regarding home gardens on people's residential property include overgrowth of weeds, invasive species growing, trash, as well as the possibility of pests overrunning, especially unkept gardens. So like Kimberly mentioned, the bill explicitly still allows for municipal and state laws to be enforced. So in Wisconsin, there's specific laws, 66.0407, that refers to control of noxious weeds, and they're defined and laid out in that law. So this bill specifically, states that people who grow gardens still need to follow this law, and it can still be enforced by the state and local municipalities. Another example is in Milwaukee. There's a specific code of ordinances under the nuisance laws, one specifically about rats, and it's called the Rat Code. And so cities like Milwaukee could still use these codes to enforce, control of pests such as rats, if people's gardens were to be overgrown or infested with pests such as rats. Also, Wisconsin does have very strong laws about fertilizer regulation, what products can be used and how they can be used, stored, and managed. And that's under the ATCP Chapter 40 laws. So all of these laws would still be able to be enforced by state and municipalities, even under the AB 41. And then the reason, this bill must pass, like Kimberly had mentioned, the Hermione and Tom story in Florida, shows us that without state level protection, everyday families such as Hermione and Tom's family are kind of at the mercy of, overreaching local municipal rules. And AB 41 does not create a chaotic free for all. It just protects responsible families from being slapped with, exorbitant fees or fees for building their gardens. So I'll pass to New.
Great. So just giving a summary, right? We are here representing Bill 41 because it can affect our public health and can affect chronic illnesses and diseases. And it also will protect our family rights to plant our own vegetables in our own garden while we take in consideration of pest control, weeds, and things like that. So When AB 41 comes up for a vote, we do urge you guys to vote yes for the health of our community, our economy, and our families at home. Thank you so much for your time today, your consideration, and speaking with us today. If you have any questions, please let us know, and thank you for your time. Bye.